I am the disabled guy with the disabled life. This podcast is going to be about disabled issues and other things that interest me and others from the disabled community. I did this so that people understand what we go through in life and what we do, because a lot of what we do, it is interesting. I'm also going to talk a little bit about ADA and things of that nature. It's something that's very important to me and something that I learned a lot about when I did an episode. I'm going to talk more about it. Okay. This podcast, it's going to come out at 10 p.m. Saturday and Wednesday. So that's when that's when I think most people listen. Most people listen at night or have the episodes there for during the for the daytime. So let me stop this. Stop. I'm going to talk about something today that's a little different, yes, but it's part of life. What I'm going to talk about is, I talked about one of these in another episode. It's something that I found is very interesting on how things happen. I've had 3 experiences with death. One experience when I was in middle school, and 2 of them as I was an adult. The first one, I was in middle school. My grandfather from my dad's side was in a nursing home, and all of a sudden there was a call one night. I didn't know what the call was, but one thing that I did notice is that my dad left. And another thing I noticed in the morning, they didn't tell me about this in the morning, but I did notice that there was a heaviness and a difference. So, okay, I remember going to middle school and telling a friend of mine, I think my girlfriend died. I'm not sure. They haven't told me yet. When I got home, my mom told me, and I'm like, I knew it. That's experience 1. Experience 2 was experience 2 was different. Experience 2 was my grandmother on my dad's side. I'm doing these things in order. At that point, I was an adult. So my mom was at work, my dad was working. So I was handling hospice care calls and things of that nature. I never knew what hospice was. So they talked to me, find how we were doing and whatever. So, that was different because I was actually dealing with it. I decided not to go because I wanted not to go to the hospital where she was, because I wanted to remember her how I did. How I remembered her. So now, let me talk about how that happened. At night, I woke up, and this is my opinion. This is my experience. Some people may believe this, some people may not. But I heard her call my name. So, okay. So the hospice had called me prior and told me that she was angrily breathing, so I kind of expected it. So, but at night, then she told me, call my name. So I'm like, okay. So then I remember getting up and asking my mom, is it over? Is it over? With a sigh like that. And she said, yes. And that was the end of that. Then here comes another one that's different. For those of you that don't know or don't follow me and listen to this one first, I am disabled. I do not drive. I have 3P. The reason I'm reiterating that point is I have something I want to say to talk to you a little bit about that. So in the dream, we didn't know we didn't know one of my uncles or my mom's that was passing. We did not know this. So what happened was, I had a dream where I was walking around. Without a walker, wheelchair, all those things. So then, we had a dream. I had a dream where I was, we were in a car, and he throws me the keys, and he says in this dream, "I am tired. I gotta go." So I take the keys and I go, and I do what I have to do. And so that was that experience. But that was the night before I received a phone call from my family saying this. From my mom's family. Because I have my phone number for some, yeah. So then, after that, my other one was this. Excuse me. So then, I had another one. Now this was my grandma from my mom's side. So she was, also I didn't experience this one closely because she's in Costa Rica, we live in United States. So I woke up in the middle of the night. She also was calling my name and calling me. That was the experience I had. Oh, let me say this, when it comes back to my uncle's story, I jumped around. This is something that I was going to say and I forgot. So I jumped around here, sorry. When it came to my uncle, we went to Costa Rica, my mom and I and my sister. We went, and I was playing around with the phone, I was bored, and I see a light. And the Catholics do 21-day Mass. And at the end of 21 days, there was no more light. But the way I saw the light is, because in electronics, that you see those anomalies. I'm gonna call them that, even though I think it's something else. But let me call it what people call it, an anomaly. So yeah, let me go back. And then when my grandmother passed away, I heard her call my name. What that meant to me is that she was saying goodbye. The reason I got inspired to do this episode is because I talked to a friend of mine that I speak to from the podcast support community, and we did a Twitter space or an X space about grief and those experiences there. Thank you, Maria, for giving me inspiration to do this episode. Thank you for listening to my episodes. My episodes will come out Monday and Wednesday. You can listen to me on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and many others, including iHeartRadio. The reason I've done this podcast is to give people a voice, because I think that the disabled community is missing a voice. But I am in a unique position of being able to afford minimal equipment to do this. I'm going to give you my email address. My email, if you want to contact me, is ke4key@gmail.com. And I will also, you can also follow me on Twitter, Facebook, at The Disabled Guy, and a few other places where I put my episode out on Facebook too. With that, thank you for